2018 is over, and my situation could not be any more different than when I posted my first year as a full-time game developer post. In the 12 months since, I have evolved from a solo game developer into developing a plethora of personal, team and contractual projects, establishing the pillars of a successful company and tackling unknown opportunities. Unfortunately, that also means that my situation can be scrutinized more closely, which makes honest posts like this more difficult to submit. In fact, I have been told that last year's post made me difficult to recommend in some situations. The reality is that most individuals and companies would not want to post their complete history, warts and all. It can be bad for business. Better to keep it all hidden under the rug and only present yourself as the paragon of your field. But I am going to take a leap of faith and still share my year with you as genuinely as I can. I recognize that some potential partners may read this, and I can only hope that they will value the honesty that I bring to the table, along with the growth I have seen and my relentless work ethic. 2018 may have brought some failures, but it also was a much more successful year than 2017. My main game project takes apart their unknown, founder publisher in Icebook Interactive and is looking towards a successful launch on February 27th. I'd also have several additional projects along with more opportunities being pursued. Although I will not be able to divulge everything, I will cover the essence of how I am approaching the growth of the company leading into new developments. Last time, on Dragon Slumber, closing out last year, I had already started on my third project, a strategy simulation game setting the player as a tax apart specialist trying to raise of customer tickets, while being thrust in the middle of a conflict between your corporate employer and an activist group. The game would be entirely presented from the perspective of a simulated computer through a replicated operating system, using the terminal command prompt while resolving tickets. Tax apart, their unknown, was a departure from my previous titles on numerous aspects. It was the first game I would develop entirely on my own, without relying on contracting artists, or otherwise partnering up. This limited the game styles I could develop, since I would not be able to rely on extensive art requirements or animations. It forced me to get creative and to develop something unique, better cater to my strengths. I settled on a simulated computer environment, both because of my familiarity with it, along with the relative ease of developing the various in-game applications, meant to replicate the expected software which could be found in a web browser with several websites, the ticket manager, a customer database and more. It would take time, but the visual complexity would be limited. By doing a lot of research and using a decade of web development experience, made a point to make all the software look unique yet recognizable and easy to navigate. Supplementing the visual style were royalty-free online resources, like stock images and music. Again, limits turned into strengths as I found sources with hundreds of profile images which became the baseline for the customers the player would interact with. I also used them for the several websites I crafted inside the game, including the Quizar website, which I later replicated live. Then early this year, an alternate reality live event, involving the activist from the game would take over that website, leaking the release date. In response to the criticism my previous games received concerning their linearity, I wanted Tax Apart to provide more clear choices and different outcomes. The story of conflict between a corporation and some activists felt naturally lived, But I also found myself enriching the story through several side stories whom the player could pursue and reach their own unique endings. Peppered throughout the narrative were various characters, each with their own motivations, keeping the player on their toes. My goal was to provide a new experience for players each time they went through the game, by emphasizing the characters they chose to help, while phasing out those left aside. That meant that no objectives would be asked from the player during each playthrough, increasing variety and replayability, rather than a simple choice at the end of the game. The entire experience would matter and the story as a whole would change, including which characters appeared and which features became available. The project is moving along smoothly, but I remained on the alert for other opportunities to pursue as well. And then in January, the Utopocalypse happened. New projects, new learning experiences. One of my goals for my sophomore year was to be more adaptable to those different opportunities and be open to projects outside of tech support. The year started with changes with the YouTube algorithm, leading to smaller content creators finding it more difficult to promote their videos. Knowing the struggle felt by starting content creators, I decided to develop a new web platform, which I hoped would help them get the word out. Taking inspiration from other gamified web platforms, I designed and coded the movie for TubeSpark in about a month. It's a system which encourages viewers to discover new great content by enabling YouTubers to feature a single one of their videos. Viewers could then give it a thumbs up or down, which affected how often that video would be seen by other viewers. Achievements were added to encourage voting, sharing content and other actions, and to provide equal opportunities. YouTubers could reset their stats after a certain period by popping up a new video with a higher appeal to the audience. Clutter-free presentation and clear key tasks. Unfortunately, TubeSpark would be marred with the same issues as my previous games. Difficulties in getting the word out and promoting it. Finding YouTubers was not too difficult. However, getting a steady influx of viewers proved to be more difficult than anticipated. The issue being that YouTube communities tend to revolve around a specific YouTuber, rather than the YouTube platform itself. TubeSpark never found the growth it deserved, because I did not have the financial resources to better promote it. It never grew the audience necessary to reach a critical mass. The people who used the platform did enjoy it, and I have heard numerous accounts of viewers cycling through every video available. But this is such a unique service that hefty promotion through advertisement, conventions and networking becomes obligatory. The website does remain available to lots of free service, however, not even using any advertisement to subsidize itself. I still believe it has a chance to take off with the proper investment, and intend to revisit the concept at a later date, once the right opportunity comes along. Becoming a digital rogue. Despite the delays caused by TubeSpark's development, tech support, they are unknown, was still moving forward at a steady pace. Expecting the game to be completed shortly, I started looking about for a new project to follow it. Happenstance brought me to an ad by a 3D artist looking for the right project, posted in a large Discord server, which I am an administrator. Jordan was not looking for anything specific, rather casting his line out and seeing who could bite. After getting in touch, we quickly recognized that we had similar ambitions. I did not want to rush into any partnership, however, so we decided to work on a quick loot and data project to use it if we had chemistry as partners. An explosion of cheese. Following the theme, combine two incompatible genres, we devised a recipe for disaster. which combined physics-driven racing with on-the-fly cooking. Players would navigate an obstacle course to grab ingredients and bring them back to the ever-cooking pizza in the middle of the field. Before the pizza was done cooking, as a 72-hour project, the game had an ambitious scope, including building a leaderboard system, managing the recipe and finding fun solutions. Once it became clear the original level design was too much. At the end of the 3 days, I wanted the project to feel like a complete package, and I feel we'll succeed with that. In no small part, thanks to the presentation images Jordan cooked up. He also crafted an amazing-looking vehicle with a ton of personality, along with the oven environment in which we evolved. Although the end result would not yield a victory, we were very satisfied with each other's work ethic and approach, and so we decided to begin work on a whole new project, by far the most ambitious I have been a part of. Taking inspiration from Dead Cells, Devil May Cry and Jet Set Radio, I started designing Digital Rogue,